appointed hour has arrived. It's time for the May 8th meeting of the City of West Fargo Public Library Board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order, taking roll. Robin?
Present.
Tony?
Here.
Leanne?
Here.
And Alana is absent this evening, but we have a quorum. I'll take a motion to approve the order of the agenda.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any comments about the order of the agenda, additions, subtractions? Jenna?
There was one error in the agenda as published online. Item number 5, discussion of library undesignated balance, was meant to be moved to a future meeting. Unfortunately, it was left on in this one. We could discuss it if that's the board's wishes, or we could move that to a future meeting.
Let's move it to a future meeting. Do we need a motion for that, or can we all
We
agree
need
on
a
it?
friendly amendment.
Friendly, okay. All right, we'll move number 5, discussion on library undesignated balance, to a future meeting.
I'm going to make an amendment to the prior vote then, that we approve the agenda with taking out number 5 and moving it to a future agenda.
All those in, is there a second? Okay. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you, Leanne. I will take a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in, any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, we move on to the regular agenda and take up old business, the adoption of the 2025-2030 strategic plan. I'll take a motion to approve that adoption. I'll move to approve that adoption. Is there a second?
I'll second.
All right, let us discuss the 2025-2030 strategic plan. We've had it for 4 weeks. Did anybody have any questions, comments, concerns? Jenna, did you have anything to add?
No, we went over the main points of that strategic plan at our last meeting. As just a refresher, the plan is based on those 3 core values of compassion, growth and learning, and community and connection. Each of those core values have 2 focus areas. Within compassion, there is access to the library and representative services. Under growth and learning, we have lifelong learning and growth of the library. And under community and connection, we have fostering social connections and community partnerships. Our hope is that this plan would be a flexible one, so as our city continues to grow rapidly, we are able to rapidly adapt to meet the needs of our community and report back in a transparent way based on these values, how we are serving our residents.
Thank you.
How will you measure success on the strategic plan?
Yeah, how will we measure success? That's a great question. So a plan like this obviously is going to have a lot of anecdotal data, but we also, when we take a look at our impact reports and our annual report, those numbers as well, we'll have some of that hard data as well. So looking at, for example, our collection, we'll know that we are meeting the needs of our community with our collection within these values if that turnover rate remains high, for example.
Not that I think it needs it here, but maybe in the future, if there's ever a way to make it, then I think the implicit, what you just talked about, explicit, like putting a measurable goal with that, because that goes a long way to go with narratives, right? Because it's the stories we want to hear. And but then if we can say, I was just looking at access to the library. Like we look at patrons coming in and out, right? And so have we, you know, what would a goal be around that or something of that nature? But just, I like it as is, but just some feedback.
Thanks, Leanne. Thanks, Jenna. Anything else? All right. All those in favor of the motion to adopt the 2025-2030 strategic plan, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right. We move on to the regular agenda, the approval of job description updates prior to the salary study. We have some updates on job descriptions.
Yep. Board, in your packet, there was a whole swath of job descriptions. I don't think we need to take a look and read through all of those in this meeting here. As an overview, I would say none of the jobs have changed. What has changed is we've updated some of the language. For example, in some of the job descriptions, it was still listing people as reporting to a position that we no longer have. So some of those changes occurred. We also took out some of the specific software language in some of our job descriptions so that as software changes and develops over the years, every time we have a change, we don't need to come back and change a job description. While still using language that remains true to the idea of our people need to know how to use this type of software, but not calling out a specific brand. We also had a few job descriptions where, like our youth services manager, our adult services manager, our circulation manager, for example, all had the same job description with a special assignment previously. We've now separated those out so they each have the same components in their job description, but now when we would post that online, we're not posting a generic library service manager position. We are posting a youth services manager position. And this is, for the longevity of our organization, somebody looking for a youth services job is going to be searching for a youth services job. A technical services or collection development librarian is looking for a collection development position, not just a generic library services manager spot. So that's why we were separating those out. So the content remains largely the same. We've just individualized them a bit. And the same with in technical services, we had some technical services specialists, and that encompassed our acquisition specialist and our cataloger, and then they each had a special assignment. Again, a cataloger is looking for a cataloger position. That's a very specific role, and so we separated those out for that reason. Any questions on what we did, why?
So, in reading the memo, so last summer, we were already presented with the salary survey results. We adopted those recommendations, but then we will do a new salary survey coming up here.
Yes. So the board had requested that the HR director do a new salary survey when we adopted the recommendations last year. They have not bought the data yet. They're waiting for us to finish this process, knowing that we had been working on it. The city had done kind of a city-wide salary survey. The hope is that they can take a few departments at a time in more of like a rolling process going forward. So we were just placed in the first grouping.
Do we have maybe some inkling of how the new salary survey could impact our budget?
Not
yet.
yet. No, the data, we haven't seen any data yet, so.
Okay.
I'll take a motion to approve the job description updates.
I'll second.
Moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? I've done this backwards. All right. All those in favor of approving the job description updates, please say aye.
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 Aye. Opposed? Okay, thank you. We have approved the job description updates. Jenna, could you scroll up, please,
Scroll up.
so I can see what item number 2 is more easily? Thank you. I will take a motion to approve the addition of the circulation intern for summer 2026.
I'll second.
I need a motion.
I will make that motion then.
Okay, thank you. Is there a second? Thank you very much. Jenna?
Would you like me to pull up the memo?
Sure.
Sure, okay. For the last several summers, we've had interns. Initially, it was grant funded through Otto Bremer by the Friends, and the interns have just been a wonderful addition to the library, and it's a really budget-friendly way to help us out in our busiest season. One of the things that we've noticed the last 2 seasons is the folks that we are interviewing are really interested in getting into the library field. Not all of them are interested in library programming. Some of them are interested in circulation and technical services as well. And we definitely need help in circulation in the summer. And so we floated the idea of adding a circulation intern to help with the shelving and checking things in and out. So that's where this idea came from. Yeah, so total compensation costs for summer of 2026, we would be looking at $3,000, $3,086.36, roughly.
Yeah, do you follow, for like when we say summer, do you follow kind of the school calendar in terms of when school's out and then when it starts?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Frequently, we have high schoolers filling these positions, so.
Any other questions for Jenna? Comments, concerns? We'll move to the vote. All those in favor of approving the addition of the circulation intern, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Dandy. Thank you. I will take a motion to approve the 3rd circulation supervisor. Is there a second? I'll second. Jenna?
Currently, we have 2 circulation supervisors. One is out on a planned leave, and we have one of our full-time library assistants serving an out-of-grade assignment to cover that. It's very necessary to have at least, at a minimum, 2 circulation supervisors because we have an AM and a PM that we need to cover. With the addition of our satellite location, we're finding it's really necessary actually to have 3. Other managers have been stepping in to fill in if anybody is sick on vacation, you know, if anything happens. But even in just like the normal course of busyness, we really need a supervisor here and an AM and a PM at our main location. So I am requesting that we would make that out-of-grade assignment a permanent one. The unspent hourly wages for a full-time library assistant during this 12-week leave period is just over $9,000. Looking at the wage increase for a full-time library assistant moving to a circulation supervisor for the remainder of the year following the end of this 12-week leave period is less than $9,000. So it really is kind of a budget neutral move for our current fiscal year. In looking at fiscal year 26, I've already included that in our preliminary budget. So when we move ahead to that next agenda item, if you took a look at those numbers, it's already included in there.
Yeah, I was gonna ask, after the 12-week period's over, we'll still have three, right? Three assistants?
It would go back
Back to
to
two?
two.
Okay,
Yeah, because that out-of-grade assignment would end unless we approve this. So we're currently at two with the out-of-grade assignment.
so we're not, so then would you post for the person that, like, would the person that's in the out-of-grade assignment go back to the original position? No.
I'm not requesting to backfill that assistant position.
Okay,
That's what makes it
yes, okay.
this budget neutral. Mhm. So in essence, we're just promoting one person to increase their duties.
And without filling, then the library assistant, we're still good in terms of getting all of the things done needed?
We should be okay.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, concerns? Regina? All right, all those in favor of approving the third circulation supervisor, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? That position is approved. Thanks. I will take a motion to approve the preliminary budget for fiscal year 2026.
I'll make a motion to approve the 2026 preliminary budget.
And I will second that motion. Jenna?
Yeah, this is a little small on your screens, I'm sure. Is it staying up to date on there, Alicia?
Are you showing something else?
Nothing showing up on
Yeah.
our screens. I'm going to have to start bringing
I know, that's,
something.
yeah, because I like to kind of pop through.
So you haven't been seeing all the memos that I'm pulling up either. How do I make it move over? What if I close this tab? Then we have to join again. One moment, please. New technology. But I think we want to actually look at the numbers. 9296. There we go. Okay. So on your screen is the budget, our preliminary budget. And it is also showing budget and actual from fiscal year 22 through our projected budget for 26. What's highlighted in blue are the personnel numbers that we get from the finance department. Included in those blue numbers are the third intern that we just approved for circulation for the summer, and the third circulation supervisor. I would also like to note that the health insurance line in particular, so this one right here that I'm kind of circling with my mouse, is higher than it probably will be. We expect that to go down a little bit. I mentioned we have a staff member out on a planned leave. We've inflated that number, not knowing what their elections will change to. So we have family elections selected. Before we had everything changed to the highest elections for that particular staff member in the health insurance line. As I scroll down, the final number on the bottom was less than a 3% increase from the previous year. That 3% is kind of important if you've been following the news about the property tax cap with legislation. So we were trying to keep our budget very conservative this year and keep it under 3% if possible. There are also a few other shifts in certain lines where you might see some zeros where things had been budgeted previously. For example, building rental here. Oh, we don't need to highlight all that business. Is now 0. That is because the city finance department is trying to consolidate some of their budget lines across departments. So that is now moving to lease and rental down below. So the total is still there. It has just moved to a different line. Lease and rental right here. So eventually that number, building 333 for building rental, will go away for the city. Our collection budget amounts we tried to keep flat. There's a few lines where you will see large decreases. Many of those are because last year we spent a lot of money getting our satellite set up. So we purchased furniture and technology and things like that. So those lines are going to show a reduced amount. Here's technology. You'll see is 7,800 lower. Some of our increases, just cost of things go up every year. Odin is usually pretty good about letting us know in advance what increases we can expect there. So that number should be pretty close. Odin's on the very bottom. Other things like postage are really hard to guess. We never really know how much postage is going to go up any given year, but also we don't know how many books we're going to be asked to mail out either. So it kind of depends on the demand and how much postage rates increase.
So consistently, like as I look at 22, 23, and 24, consistently, there's about a $200,000 difference between what we budget and what we actually spent. Do you because as you can see, a lot of the budget is staffing, right? And that's typical.
Mm-hmm.
But with that consistent number, do you anticipate us being down about $200,000 200,000 again. It's interesting that it's consistent each year like that. And I'm wondering, is that staffing? Is it some of those pieces because it's such a big part of the budget?
I think it has been staffing. I
Okay.
feel like we are a lot more stable than we have been. There has been a lot of turnover in the last handful of years. But I feel like we're in a good place now, and I'm
Okay.
not expecting to see the turnover like we have been seeing.
Sure. It's just
Yeah.
interesting, like for those first 3 years shown on here, it's about $200,000 difference.
Yeah.
And and I don't know how tight the city wants it budgeted. And if it's what we anticipated. And there's little things that we didn't spend on as well that we budgeted for that do add up. But I think staffing seems to be, at least you look in 2022, like a big difference between what we budgeted and what we spent. So I'd just be curious then as we get into our second half of 2025, like how that looks. Because of course our budget keeps going up, and I think it's mainly due to staffing. And so what does that do to then what we actually spend?
Also, I think we're getting a little bit better at reining in some of the numbers. So 2024, if you look at like the health insurance line, was $50,000. We budgeted $50,000 more than what we needed
Yeah,
in health
yeah, yeah.
insurance. You know, so that's a significant one, and that's one that I know the city's really working on reining in this particular budget cycle.
Okay.
So, and with us too, I know that that's one that we're high on. So I also know that for 2025, we were probably high in health insurance as well. So,
Okay.
yeah. Yep. Getting closer.
Yes.
We have learned so much in the last
Yes.
few
Sure.
years.
Yes.
And I will say this budget process has been very smooth with the city so far this year. Yeah.
Good.
I don't know. We just kudos to the city, the finance department and administration. It's just gone really well. So
And the year-over-year change at the last column, last line, shows that it's down 40-some-odd thousand dollars, which is essentially means to me that we're budget neutral from this year to next, right?
I think there's some deltas in there that aren't being included in the number. So like the lease and rental line, it goes from 0 in 2025 to 199,000 in 26, and it's showing as blank. So if you look at the two numbers, the two total numbers, there's about $174,000 difference. So slight increase.
Phooey, okay. Any other questions for Jenna about the preliminary budget? Hearing none, I'll ask for a vote. All those in favor of approving the preliminary budget, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have approved the preliminary budget. Thanks, Jenna, for massaging those numbers. Director's report, please.
yeah. Finance-wise, we are right on track. That should be through the end of April, sorry. We are 31% expended. Satellite usage, again, since it's so new, I just wanted to give you a little snapshot of what's happening over here. So physical circulation that's happening in this space, we've had 461 items checked out in April, 390 people through the doors, and we've made 8 library cards. Our actual physical item circulation was down just a little bit in April when compared to last year, but the digital circulation was higher by a good margin, so our overall circulation numbers were still higher. Our traffic, as far as our door count, was down just a little bit in April as well. But we've been doing school tours. And last year, we squeezed all of the school tours into April. And this year, we've slid several into May. And I think that shift is what accounts for some of that door count difference. We'll find out at the end of May if that accounts for the change or not. I thought this was terribly interesting. Our off-site book drop usage is down. With the opening of the satellite, everybody's returning their books here. So in March, we moved one of the book drops to City Hall here. The remaining drop at Cashwise has also seen a decrease in usage. So patrons seem to be returning their books to the satellite if they are on the south end of town. We'll keep tracking that. If at some point it seems like it's not worth our time to be sending staff to Cashwise to be collecting books there, if it's just not being used, then we might want to repurpose that book drop, placing it somewhere else in the community. So stay tuned. We'll keep evaluating. Youth programming, like I said, second grade tours have been happening. Nearly finished with those. Actually, it's been over 1,000 kids now have visited so far. And even bus drivers have come in and signed up for library cards and checked out materials as well. That's been really lovely. We've also had some 6th grade tours from Liberty happening too. It's been really fun to see the contrast between the 2 grades and what they're interested in and looking for when they come in. Recently, we had a 90s themed family craft night. Kids and grown-ups made fuse bead creations. Do you remember ironing the plastic beads? Yep. Friendship bracelets, sand art, and other throwback crafts. That was really fun. Minecrafts, so Minecraft themed a craft event. Families were able to create many different pixel-based craft projects. That was so popular, we had both meeting rooms full and the hallway to accommodate everyone.
And I have a 2nd grader, and so he already visited the library with his school, and he came home so excited. And we've been to the library, but he had his little bookmark with the 3 books that he maybe wanted to check out, and so
Yeah.
he was very excited.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, on the tours, we are having them write down on a bookmark a book that they want to read this summer, and then they have to find a Newbery Award winner using the catalog and also a nonfiction book.
He enjoyed it.
Yep, wonderful. Also in youth programming, the Storytime numbers are steady with a high attendance. Recent highlight at Storytime was the Shiloh Christian Academy did a preview of their Newsies Junior musical show. The full cast came in and did a singing program for our Storytime. It was wonderful. And we've also added a 2nd monthly teen D&D due to that event's popularity. In adult programming, our movie matinees have become so popular that every week we are turning people away at the door because we're over capacity. So that team is exploring, do they do a second showing, or do they open up another room with an alternative activity for those that are unable to participate due to space limitations? What's the right answer here? Book clubs are also going strong, and tech tutoring and notary services have been very popular in the last month. Pictured also are some images from a balance screening that we had with Apex Physical Therapy. And the city of West Fargo did a budget process presentation that was really good. I really think we should share this property tax distribution slide that's in the picture. Shows like how much of your tax dollars go to what entities. It was very informative. Outreach has been busy as well. Circulation is really up with outreach. In April, they joined other area libraries at NDSU and MSUM as a part of National Library Week, reaching out to those college students. In May, they're gonna have sort of a spring, summer preview of what that Library on Wheels route is going to look like. So coming up in a couple days, actually, they'll be at Maplewood Park, and then Dakota Park and Goldenwood Park. So look for the Library on Wheels out in the community soon. We've had a lot of engagement on social media recently as well. Lots of new faces sharing our library news and events with their friends, positive interactions, and excitement about what's going on. Lots of community interest in our satellite in particular, but also just other library happenings and news that's been on the TV, radio, print, etc. Some noteworthy upcoming things: the Friends used books and media sale is coming up on the 17th. They have all sorts of treasures piled near to the ceiling. I would encourage everyone to come out for that. Saturday, May 17th from 10 to 4 p.m. I like to do my Christmas and birthday shopping at that. It says used books and media sale, but lots of times you find brand new items there as well. Puzzles, games, all sorts of things. And of course, summer is almost here. All those kids that are coming into the library, you can tell, have turned into squirrels. They're ready for summer. So our summer kickoff party is Thursday, May 29th from 5 to 7 p.m. at the library. We will have snacks and crafts, games. You can get signed up for the summer challenge, and there will be just fun for all ages at the library. The theme this summer is colorful, so can't wait. That summer Library on Wheels route will start up on June 2nd and run through July 30th. We'll also be popping up at elementary schools and community events throughout the summer. And we are partnering with the local public libraries again this summer as well for a Red Hawks Library Night that is coming up on June 5th. The first 500 kids will get a free book stuffed with information about the summer programs. Daniel Tiger will be there for a meet and greet, and there will be inflatable games as well. And with that, I'd love to answer any questions if there are any.
I look forward to the end of the summer reading program, and the celebration, established to be named later, where we'll give cold compresses to those involved. The monthly impact report for April.
That's something that we just attach.
All right, fine. Then, it looks as if, unless my eyes deceive me. Okay. I will take a motion. Before we do that, just to remind me, most of all, our next meeting is the 12th of June. And has everybody had a good time here? Is it, everybody can hear what everybody else is saying?
Good.
Okay. All right, we'll be here in person then on the second Thursday of June. June. All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? All right. We are adjourned. Thank you very much.